Hey, hello folks. Hello everybody. How is everyone doing in lockdown? This is Hoagie Meister here from Global Astrology. Know your nation, know yourself, and what times! I mean, it's just been, I don't know about you, but everything for me has changed. My food habits have changed. I'm in so much into juices. I've lost an absolute ton of weight, which has been good, but I kind of want it to stop now. So I'm trying to sort of like fatten myself back up. But anyway, such is life, and otherwise it's good. I mean, we've been having amazing weather, which is even more of a test for us. As you can imagine, we want to be outside. I miss barbecues. I miss meeting up with friends. Oh, and just being able to go out in weather like this and just have a picnic, barbecue. Anyway, but I shall not rant. Today, we have reached the third house of the UK chart. And again, this is another illustration. And what this, in terms of how the houses work, what we're going to be discussing here is the third house is essentially, in mundane astrology, in everyday life astrology, it is to do with transport. It is to do with socializing, meeting up with friends. It's to do with all kinds of travel. Normally short haul travel, can be longer, but all sorts of travel, particularly within your own country or in your own local area. But it's also logistics as well, thinking, strategy. It's also the house of business, small businesses in particular, which is particularly relevant for the UK chart, because there are millions of people that are either self-employed or run a small business. Now, you've probably heard this before, but this is absolutely true. Small business is the backbone of Britain. And planet Mercury in a nation basically represents, planet Mercury represents logic, rationale, the ability to think in a logical sequence, and cleverly. So, of course, as I mentioned before, under these circumstances of lockdown, I said already that the big C is a Gemini disease. This is apple and mango, by the way, watered down with a little bit of juice. Watered down with water. Anyway, that is not really relevant. But depending on the condition of Mercury in a nation's chart, that will affect how they've responded to COVID. But it also means how that nation will respond to any logistical challenge. Now, what I want to talk about specifically in this video, everyone has seen in the news what has been happening in terms of PPE, PPE, testing people, what's going to be the next phase of the economy, what's going to be the next phase of business, because third house also represents business, and planet Mercury along with Venus, but Mercury in particular represents business. So we've got a planet of business in our third house. So this is very pressing and this is very relevant. It's very important, obviously, that we get that balance right between keeping everyone safe, but also as well getting that economy up and running, because obviously we don't want the economy to be asleep for too long, but at the same time people have to be safe. So of course this causes a dichotomy. Now, what you will see here, planet Mercury here, is in the sign of Sagittarius, which belongs to Jupiter, who is in our 11th house. But this is very relevant because the planets have friendships with each other, Some planets like each other more than others. So Mercury really likes Saturn and Venus, Those are sort of like his main friends. Jupiter, he's sort of neutral to. However, Jupiter doesn't like Mercury, and Mercury is sitting in his sign. Now, there are two sides to Jupiter. So apart from the sun and the moon is always feminine, the sun is always masculine. All the other planets do double duty. So Jupiter has a feminine side, which is Pisces, which is the deep debilitation point of Mercury. Transiting Mercury is currently in Pisces now. And this is affecting things, you know, like logistics, things to do with the death tolls around the world. Some people are getting a little spike going up. Some people are wanting to break the curfew. This is Mercury not doing so well in Pisces. But coming back to the UK's natal chart, Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is the masculine expression of Jupiter, but it's also a fire sign, and it's to do with righteousness and preaching and all this stuff. Now, Mercury is not a very righteous sign in the sense of he likes to talk about things that are everyday, logistics, business. He's often known as the accountant of the zodiac. Yeah, he works out the numbers, he works out the ad campaign, the marketing campaign, the social media. It's not so into these lofty ideas like Jupiter. Jupiter is like, what is the meaning of life, religion, ceremony, all of those processes, gurus, teachers. So what happens when you put Mercury in a fire sign? Now, one thing needs to be understood is that Mercury is like the computer processor in your computer. And you know how when your computer warms up, you know the fan is always going? The fan is always blowing, and that's to keep that microchip, that specific logistical microchip, nice and cool so it can do its job efficiently. Yeah? Now, Mercury likes to stay cool, so that's why he does very well in earth signs and in air signs, which both belong to his friends Saturn and Venus. So for Venus, it's Libra and Taurus, and for Saturn, it is Capricorn and Aquarius. Mercury does very well in those signs. But when he heats up in Sagittarius, the logistical abilities of Mercury start to become compromised. Now, if you start relaying that together with the issues that the government is having coordinating PPE, etc. and stuff like that. I also write about this in my book as well, because it's also to do with transport. I also discuss why our transport or our infrastructure budgets always tend to become overblown. Yeah, they never seem to quite work out in a sensible, logical way. So I'll explain further. Here you see Jupiter gives a direct aspect to Mercury here. And what this does is, although Jupiter is known as a great benefic, what he does is he expands things, regardless if they're good or they're bad, he will make something bigger. So if there are good things going on and you've got Jupiter looking at that, you get more of that good stuff. Yeah, more teaching, learning, great ideas. However, if you're in a situation where something is not so good and Jupiter is expanding it, that's not so good. And this is also the case in the UK chart. On top of that, we have Mercury's enemy, Mars, giving a direct aspect via his 8th aspect, which is extremely strong, right onto that Mercury, which is heating up Mercury even more. So what that means is things like logistics, planning, sequential thinking, doing things in the right order in the UK on that government level starts to become a bit muddled. Now, what I will mention is that there was a leaked memo, this has come out in the news today, which basically shows that the tests for NHS staff, original tests for NHS staff, have proved ineffective. They've not worked out, and this is a leaked memo. So again, this is Mercury communications memos. It's been leaked, and there's been issues with the organization and of course the delayed PPE from Turkey, which has now arrived. But what is very interesting as well is that early on, what's been revealed, the government were asked to participate by the EU in a PPE procuring service. And as we know, this didn't happen. Now, remember they said there was a missed email? Remember that Mercury is also emails, and e-commerce and stuff like that, social media. They said there was a missed email, but what has been revealed by the permanent secretary in the Home Office and in the civil service, he said that the government didn't participate in this procurement of PPE for political reasons. Now, isn't this interesting? Because Jupiter is also the planet of politics. And you see there's that direct aspect there. So you see, when it comes to our logistics, our infrastructure, our politics, the way that we organize ourselves as a nation, it's slightly discombobulated. So we might have some great ideas, because Jupiter is also the planet of philosophy. So the government has come out with some great ideas, although some of our ideas have been proven to be maybe over-optimistic, because Jupiter is also the planet of optimism. Remember before, earlier on, where they were talking about herd immunity and all that kind of stuff, and then it quietly got squirreled away, and then we went straight down into Saturnian lockdown. So do you see there's this level almost like the government where there are these ideas floating around, but are we maybe choosing the right options? Are we doing things in a logical, sequential manner that you would see maybe in Germany or maybe in somewhere like South Korea? This goes to suggest that maybe not. Now, look, we're going to get there in the end. It's not like it's a Mercury debilitation, but you see there's this sense of that the logic is not quite working in the UK, particularly at that government level. Pardon me, they're just not quite with it. Anyway, so, but nonetheless, it is what it is, and this is the UK. Mercury also represents the media. Now, remember, we've got this expansive philosophical side, so that media, our media has a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. We like to, the media likes to interview most of the time intelligent, learned people, yeah? That's Jupiter. However, though, remember this hot and harsh aspect from Mars, yeah? And Mars is an enemy of Mercury. What this does, it adds an element of harshness and almost kind of cruelty at times in the media in the UK. Now, of course, lockdown has happened and a lot of compassion is coming out in terms of the fourth house, the heart of the UK chart. But let's remember let's draw our minds back to a few weeks ago where that we weren't in this situation with Corona. Remember all the caustic stuff that was happening in the media, the harshness. This also covers online as well. Think of trolling. Think of what happened with Caroline Flack. Now, that seems like a million years ago now, but that was very recent stuff before coronavirus, all over the news, and where what we were talking about, kindness, yeah, coming from the heart. This is what we're really learning about now in the UK, because Saturn is here, it's in charge of the fourth and the fifth house, and this is really affecting us in terms of our hearts, our compassion. So we're really taking that on board now. But I just wanted to rewind a little bit so you can remember what things were like before. And it was really quite toxic and quite a difficult environment on media. We know that there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of weirdness that goes on, but you can see it here in the chart. And it's mainly to do with that harsh aspect that Mercury has from Mars, which kind of compromises Mercury's ability to do the right things. And especially when it comes to communication, it can make communication quite harsh and bombastic. However, we are recuperating. Unfortunately, our numbers still aren't quite right, but they do seem to be going in the right way. But the government does seem to be consistently struggling with logistics and trying to get these things right. We will get there in the end, and it will work out, but I just wanted to show you an illustration of how the nature of Mercury in a national chart affects the behavior, particularly at a government level. And I hope that was very useful for you. As you know, but I'll just say again, if anyone would like a consultation with me, it's been going great actually. We've been getting lots of clients coming through, but I do a fate and destiny reading where you can look at the nodes of the moon to understand what your true life path is, and how when you start going on that trajectory, that path line of the nodes of the moon, how things open up for you and success starts to become more ready and abundant. I also do chart overviews when you can look at your overall character, but also as well romance and compatibility, when marriage is likely, or when one is to meet someone, or a soulmate, or just general kind of romance. And of course, I have my books as well. I will be continuing with my book on the UK. Things have just been so hectic, and I've been just dealing with some other bits and bobs. But yes, that's all coming back. So follow the link to my website, which will be in the description, but it's the archetypalblueprint.com. If you want to email me, you can email info at thearchetypalblueprint.com, and that will give you an email there, but it's all going to be down in the links. And you won't have to put up with the paintbrush for very long, because soon I'll have a wand. I ordered one online, so yes, look out for that. I was hoping it would be here for this video, but it's not. But I will wrap up there. The next will be, we'll look at the 4th house and the 5th house. In my book, I've left the 4th house for last, but I've already referenced it, so I'm actually going to skip to the 5th house on the next chapter. More stuff as well. I'll do some bits and bobs on the United States. Again, with their communication, we're seeing some very interesting stuff going on, and they're trying to reopen their economies, probably a bit too soon, and there might be some dire consequences for that, but that is another country and another time and place. But apart from that, I think that's it for now. So thanks for watching. Please leave comments and requests in the video below. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the videos, and click the bell notification so you can see when the next thing is coming on. And yeah, it's Wednesday, so I'm going to get this video uploaded. Thanks for watching in, and next time, yeah, let's do 5th house. All right, thanks very much. Bye-bye.